Odd one out. Moral grandstanding is using moral talk as a way of drawing attention to oneself, seeking status, and or trying to impress others with our moral qualities. One reason why virtue signaling and by extension moral grandstanding exists is that hypocrisy is a specific accusation that can be backed up or refuted by evidence. Now, in any odd one out parajumble, we'll first look at the theme, look at an option which seems to be out of theme, talking about something else, then we'll identify that. If not, then we try to find links between the other sentences and find a sentence which doesn't link with others. Here, the first one is talking about moral grandstanding. Second one is also talking about moral grandstanding. Third one has also mentioned moral grandstanding. 4, 5, all 5 options have the term moral grandstanding. So we should be careful and try to look at links and aspects of moral grandstanding that they're talking about. First one is defining moral grandstanding. So 1 is definitely going to be there in my whatever the subject. 1 is going to be there. It's at least telling me what is moral grandstanding. 2 talks of virtue signaling and by extension moral grandstanding exists is that hypocrisy is a specific accusation that can be backed up or refuted by evidence. Second one talks of hypocrisy in moral grandstanding. According to psychologist Joshua Grubbs, for example, moral grandstanding exacerbated the COVID-19 crisis and is part of the reason why so many of us are so awful to each other so much of the time. Alright, he says moral grandstanding was worsened during the COVID-19 crisis and is part of the reason why so many of us are so awful to each other. So this moral grandstanding is something negative. Moral grandstanding is supposed by some to be a pervasive and dangerous phenomenon. So 1 will link with 4. It is using moral talk as a way of drawing attention to oneself, seeking status, trying to impress others. It is supposed by some to be a pervasive and dangerous phenomenon. Okay. According to this, it exacerbated the COVID-19 crisis. So 1 and 4 would go together. Let me see where 5 stands. Moral grandstanding or 2 stands. Moral grandstanding is intimately related to virtue signaling and both are, let's save it, first and foremost internet problems. 5 is talking about internet problems. 2 is talking of hypocrisy. So which one links best with 3? We are awful to each other so much of the time. Virtue signaling, first and foremost internet problems. So we are awful to each other. How are we awful to each other? First and foremost, virtue signaling on the internet. So 1, 2 and 3, 5 I can link together kind of. But 2, hypocrisy of a specific accusation and evidence talk seems to be talking of some other factor. So to me, 2 is the odd one out because I find 1 and 4 I am linking, 3 and 5 I am linking, and even 1, 4, 3, 5 I can link together. Alright, so 2 is my odd one out. This is a tough odd one out which will take you 2 minutes to answer. So sometimes in the exam you just find the links and quickly mark the option and move ahead. In the actual test, when I took the test, I did that. So you have to really do it. Don't spend so much time on it. I'm giving you an explanation, which is why I'm taking so much time on it.